Donald Trump is desperately trying to prevent himself and his children from having to go and testify, sit for depositions in New York as part of the ongoing investigation by State Attorney General Letitia James. So this week, he sent his lawyers to court to appeal last month's ruling that said that they all had to sit for their depositions. And the legal reasoning for this appeal, according to Donald Trump's lawyers, is one that is likely going to get laughed out of court. Because according to the filing, the challenge, the official court challenge that his lawyers filed, they believe that the judge who made the February 17th ruling didn't actually weigh their arguments. Because at one point they said he didn't have all of the information necessary to make a proper ruling. Well, gee, whose fault would that be? I mean, if you think the judge doesn't have all of the information, maybe you should have given him all the information. But you actually did. And what information is that, you ask? Well, it's the information that says that Letitia James has obviously been conducting a political witch hunt into Donald Trump. And that's why this whole thing is happening. And that judge back in February didn't even sit to consider that. Except he did. He just didn't care. It wasn't relevant, and you couldn't prove it. That's why he issued the ruling that he did. You can't file a challenge saying the judge didn't do the things that the judge already did and expect to be successful. Because what's going to happen is they're going to go through the previous ruling. They're going to go through what transpired in court, what documents the judge did in fact have, and when they see that, oh wait, everything you're saying is a lie, your case is going to get thrown out. But they know that. See, even if they're right and the judge didn't take the time to look at all their claims of political, motivations here, it would be irrelevant. It would be 100% completely irrelevant and would not invalidate this ongoing investigation. That's what these lawyers don't want the public to understand. Even if Letitia James came out right now and said, hell yeah, I'm going after him because I just hate him politically, that wouldn't change the fact that they have actually already found criminal activity and that they have evidence to continue their investigation. Now, it may seem unethical to you, but that wouldn't change the facts of the criminal investigation or the civil investigation. So the judge didn't even have to consider the arguments put forward by Trump's lawyers because they were completely irrelevant. It would be like going in there and saying, Judge, they can't go sit for a deposition because Attorney General James likes to wear red shirts. Okay, even if it's true, what does that matter? That has no relevance to the case that we're talking about. We have evidence that suggests potential criminal wrongdoing on behalf of your clients. They need to go sit for depositions. But like I said, the lawyers know that this is going to fail. They're doing it to buy more time. This is obviously a very serious, thing happening now. They've got to be able to prep Donald. They got to prep Don Jr. They got to prep Ivanka. They got to prep that little idiot Eric. And it's going to take longer than just the, really at this point, couple of days that they have left. So they filed the legal challenge, not because they think they can win it, but because they need this to get held up in the appellate courts just long enough so they can prep all of the Trump family so that these morons don't incriminate themselves and end up in a lot more trouble. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our Ring of Fire channel here.